This right here is the LYM-DMM2 shotgun mic from LensGO. How does it sound? Let's do some tests. And if you're buying this microphone, which you're listening to right now, by the way, you're probably wondering how it sounds in a couple of different applications. Number one is vlogging, and number two is miking up a dog that's eating peanut butter. Luckily, both of those we're gonna cover today. And first off, a huge thanks to LensGO for sending over a couple of units to check out. Actually gonna be reviewing this guy next, which is basically a dual mic wireless setup. Make sure you're subbed to check out that review. The first thing that's really awesome about this microphone is that it runs on what's called plug-in power. And it's different from phantom power, so it's not like a condenser microphone that needs an XLR cable. It's similar to what you'd see on like the Rode VideoMic Pro Plus or any of those on-camera mounted microphones. So the real value here is stepping up your audio from your camera's built-in audio to something that's way more directional and just better quality. And it's gonna do three different things for you. One, it's gonna make the dialogue a whole lot clearer. Two, it's going to separate your subject from the background a lot just because it's so directional. It's gonna ignore things that are coming from around it. And three, it's gonna make your camera look a lot more badass. All right, so we're here testing the outside vlogging capabilities and braving the Canadian disgustingness to make this video. What I can do is turn this around to the side and you'll notice it starts to get kind of quiet as I go. I'm right about 90 degrees to the microphone now. And we'll go back and front and we'll go over this way. Hi, Bailey.
Hi.
This is me at the side again. And this is what it sounds like when you're vlogging from behind the microphone. So if you're ever doing like a little demo showing off how cute these little geese are. I have no idea how it sounds with the wind. It's not too windy, it's just kind of trickling down today as you can see with the snow. But let's do a little bit of a running test to see how it sounds with handling noise. No. This is me running amongst the geese. Hi guys. Don't mind me. The things we do for a good experiment. For those of you guys who aren't familiar with Canadian geese, they're absolute shitheads. They're really rude. They yell at you if you get too close to them, like they're very territorial. Not very Canadian. Now, it may seem like the most logical demonstration to test this guy out against what might be considered the king in this category, the Rode VideoMic Pro Plus. Now, there are a few different advantages to having the VideoMic Pro Plus, a few different features that this has. We'll get into all those down the road, but first, let's just jump into a little sound comparison between the two. So right now you're listening to the Rode VideoMic Pro Plus, this guy here on your right, and this microphone has a few features over the LYM-DMM2 microphone. Mainly it has a roll-off and it has a plus and minus gain function. So you can actually just boost your gain if your source is really quiet or something like that. There are additional features, they're not entirely necessary, and I don't find that I use them all that often. And also they do require power. So you can see there's LEDs on the back side of it there. There is a rechargeable battery in here, which is great, but at the same time, if you forget to charge it, you're kind of stumped. Whereas we're gonna switch over to this mic right now. So right now you're listening to the LensGO LYM-DMM2. And this microphone doesn't have a power source, so it runs exclusively on plug-in power. Right now we'll switch back to the Rode VideoMic Pro Plus. Now the plug-in power on this one actually just tells the microphone when to turn on and off. It's kind of nice, it's a handy feature. You turn on your camera and the microphone turns on, which is nice. You don't have to remember to turn it off. But with this one, we'll switch back to this microphone right now. You don't have to turn it on or off, it's just you turn on your camera and it's always good to go. There's no battery to recharge, nothing like that. So it's always ready. It's a little bit easier than this one. But in terms of sound quality, you guys can be the judge about that. Let me know down below which one you guys like better. Now I will have one caveat to that, and that's that this microphone, the Rode VideoMic Pro Plus, is significantly more expensive than the LYM-DMM2. I'll have links to both of these down below, of course, so you can see those. Something else that's important to note is that the Rode VideoMic Pro Plus doesn't actually come with this. This is another $50. So I believe this is about $300 and this is another $50 on top, whereas the LYM-DMM2 actually comes with the outdoor sock. Okay, but you might be wondering, how does this work if I'm using it with a mobile phone? Is that possible? Check this out. All right, this is a setup here using the LensGO microphone with my iPhone. And so I'm just running the 3.5mm cable into the headphone adapter and into my iPhone. You'll note I'm just holding the microphone because I don't actually have a shoe mount. To mount this, you're gonna need a case that has like a shoe mount, so you could clip this kind of to the top of your phone and have it not be in the shot like that. But of course you can just do like a handheld thing if you want to do an interview style. And this little, it might be a 10-inch cable, is actually plenty to do sort of an interview style like this. So it definitely does work. And we'll get into some more tests in just a minute, but first let's take a look at what comes inside the box. So it all comes in this plastic housing here, and you can see that the shock mount, the microphone, and the windsock all come in one. And then over here we have some accessories. And so you can see we have the 3.5mm to 3.5mm, and this will go to a camera. And then we have the 3.5mm to TRRS 3.5mm, and that is to go to a mobile device. And it also comes with this handy little carrying bag. Well, there's one last test that I wanted to run, and that is by taking the foam off the front of the microphone so you guys can hear the difference. This is with the foam off the microphone. This is with the foam on the microphone. Testing out the LensGO LYM-DMM2 without the foam on the microphone. Testing out the LensGO LYM-DMM2 with the foam on the microphone. Check, 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 check without, check, 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 checking without, check, 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 check with, checking, checking, check, check, check with. So I see this as a really solid option for people who want to step up their camera audio, people who are vlogging especially. You can also use this as a webcam. It's just really going to step you up to that next level of audio quality. And one thing I really love about it is that it runs on plug-in power. Of course, that's not as ideal as like an XLR microphone. Like I'll switch to my shotgun mic, which is just out of frame here. They're actually about the same distance from my mouth. It doesn't compare to this. Obviously, this is just a much better, fuller sound. It sounds really rich, and I have tons of control of the gain and stuff like that. But I'll switch back to this now. You can tell it's a little bit thinner of a sound. In terms of build quality, I think the microphone is pretty good. It feels pretty rigid. One thing I do find is that the shock mount feels a little bit loose and maybe a little bit fragile. There were a couple times where even plugging the 3.5mm cable in the back actually pushed the microphone right out of the shock mount, trying to force the cable into the back, and it fell straight on the floor. So I would like to see a shock mount that holds the microphone maybe a little bit better, maybe slightly thicker ridges to hold the microphone in place. And I will say that the accessories feel a little bit cheap to me. I have plenty of these 3.5mm cables, so it's not too much of a concern. Definitely, you know, you're getting a cheaper product here, but it's really geared towards people who just want to step up their audio quality without taking too much of a huge plunge into, you know, $300 or $400 equipment. So am I going to be throwing out my Rode VideoMic Pro Plus? We'll see about that. In the meantime, if you guys want to see my review of the Rode VideoMic Pro Plus and comparing that with my shotgun microphone, it's definitely some good food for thought if you're considering one of these on the camera microphones and why they may be really valuable. You can check out this video right here. I go over all of the stuff that you need to know to make an informed buying decision. I hope that this helps, and we'll see you guys in the next one.